However, while walking through the village, she couldn't escape the gossip. Some praised her, saying she carries herself like royalty, yet her heart remains with the soil. Others were less kind. But Aisha wasn't bothered by any gossip. Once upon a time, in the small village of Makunu, nestled deep in the heart of West Africa, there lived a very rich man named Akin. His wealth was not inherited but earned through hard work, determination, and wisdom. Akin owned a vast farm that stretched as far as the eye could see, where he grew variety of crops, from cocoa and yams to cassava and plantains. His land was also home to a diverse array of livestock, including goats, sheep, cattle, and even a few ostriches. What set Akins Farm apart was not just its size or diversity, but the spirit that thrived within it. His workers were not just employees, they were part of a larger family. Each day, they would arrive at dawn, their faces brightening as they stepped onto the fertile soil. The work was hard under the hot sun, but it was rewarding. Akin ensured fair wages, provided meals, and even set aside a portion of the harvest for his workers. This generosity fostered an environment of joy and dedication. Songs would echo across the fields as they worked, their rhythms matching the swings of their hoes and machete. Akin's success in agriculture had made him one of the wealthiest men in the region. His home, a large compound at the village's center, was a testament to his status. It housed his 3 beautiful wives, Kemi, the eldest, known for her wisdom, Itunu, the second, known for her culinary skills, and Tola, the youngest, admired for her kindness. Each wife had borne him a son. Beo, the firstborn from Kemi. Femi, the middle child from Itunu, and Leke, the youngest from Tola. From a young age, the 3 sons were groomed to take over their father's empire. He took them to his farms, markets, and business meetings, teaching them negotiation, crop rotation, livestock management, and financial planning. The sons absorbed these lessons with varying degrees of enthusiasm. As years passed, Akin began to contemplate his legacy. His farm was his life's work, a symbol of his journey from a poor orphan to a business magnate. He wanted it to not just survive but thrive after his time. This concern grew when he noticed troubling traits in his sons. Beo, in his early 30s, had a sharp mind for numbers but couldn't manage their workers properly. Femi, in his late 20s, was charismatic and a gifted speaker but was not interested in the family business but riches. Leke, barely 20, was full of unrealistic ideas. However, his ambitious projects often exceeded their budgets, and his impatience could lead them to make hasty decisions. One evening, Akin sat with his wives under the baobab tree in their compound. He voiced out his concerns. "My sons have potential, but each lacks something crucial. Beo's coldness could drive away our loyal workers. Femi's charm might build success, but not trust. Leke's ambitions, unchecked, could lead us to ruin. Kemi, with her grey hair reflecting wisdom, suggested, for Beo, it's time he marries. A wife could soften his edges, teach him empathy." Akin nodded, but not just any wife. He needs someone who understands our world and can guide him without overshadowing him. After much thought, Akin proposed an unconventional idea to Beo. "My son, consider marrying Aisha, one of our farm supervisors." Beo was taken aback. "Father, she's a worker and not from a prominent family." Akin smiled patiently. "True wealth isn't in a family's name but in their character. Aisha is the embodiment of beauty with brains. Watch her in the fields, she leads with respect, solves disputes, and motivates workers. As my first child, you'll inherit the largest share. You will need more than a wife who bears children and cooks. You need someone to help multiply our fortune." Beo, trusting his father's judgment, agreed. When Aisha was approached, she was both honored and hesitant. She had always admired Akin's business acumen and values. But marrying into the family was daunting. After deep reflection and encouragement from her family, she accepted. Their wedding was a grand affair reflecting Akin's status. The entire village and guests from far-flung regions attended. While many celebrated this union, whispers circulated. Some admired Aisha's rise from a worker to the family's first bride. Others, especially rejected suitors from elite families, labeled her a gold digger, suggesting she had schemed her way into money. After marriage, Aisha stepped back from farm duties, adhering to tradition. She focused on her home, ensuring Beo's comfort. However, while walking through the village, she couldn't escape the gossip. Some praised her, saying she carries herself like royalty, yet her heart remains with the soil. Others were less kind. But Aisha wasn't bothered by any gossip. Back at her husband's family house, Aisha would cook, clean, and take care of her husband's need. Beo, on the other hand, would be at his father's farm working effortlessly while his brothers were not interested. Soon enough, beautiful Aisha became pregnant and gave birth to a bouncing baby girl named Amina. The baby was cherished by all. One fateful morning, Beo started vomiting, looked pale and felt feverish. They invited the family doctor who gave him some herbs, but he didn't make it. He died the next day. Sorrow filled Akin's family. His wife Aisha cried bitterly, murmuring while his parents wept and sang his praises. The villagers gathered at their house at the village center to give their condolence. Months later, Akin summoned his sons, and the workers were there to hear what he wanted to say, to have summoned them in public. Meanwhile, days before, Akin went to the village market to get 3 flower pots, and people wondered why he would need a pot. Akin summoned Femi and Leke and gave them a small pot each, and also called out Aisha. The villagers gossiped as she walked towards Akin. He told her to carry the last pot as she would fill her dead husband's spot. Akin stood up and gave his instructions. He said, "These pots contain seeds. Come back in 3 months with the germinating plants, and whoever has the best takes it all." The whole villagers was shocked and new to this kind of challenge. Aisha resumed work at the family's farm, and she watered her pot every morning before leaving for work, same with Femi and Leke. After 3 months, Akin summoned the 3 of them with their clay pot in front of their village mansion filled with curious villagers. Femi and Leke's pot has a beautiful plant while Aisha's pot was empty. Villagers on seeing Aisha's pot whispered while some laughed at her. Akin stared at the 3 pot and smiled. "You have all done well," he said. "But today I will give all my property to Aisha." The villagers was shocked, and Femi and Leke's mother stood up angrily. Akin cleared his throat and continued. "When I gave out these pots, there were no seed inside. So how did my sons come about the germinating plants?" Akin wanted an honest heir whom he could trust, because his farm was his life's work, a symbol of his journey from a poor orphan to a business magnate. He wanted it not just survive but thrive after his time. He willed all his properties to Aisha. From that moment on, people did not just see Aisha as a poor single mom but a woman of substance who can turn nothing into something. A woman of power, and most of all, a powerful leader. This story teaches us to be honest, sincere, and hardworking.
I hope you enjoyed the story. If so, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell for more stories like this one. Goodbye.